Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, I should say, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talk's MLB update. How is everybody doing today? We are back in the studio for the first time in weeks. We're home from a cruise. Gosh, I guess the last show we did live was a Sunday Stream of Consciousness like 3 weeks ago. No, maybe it was the MLB update. Or, no, I'm sorry, college football huddle, maybe. I can't. It's been so long. I feel like I've been gone for months. All we've done the last couple of weeks was the Sunday Stream of Consciousness, and we've been on hiatus for at least 2 Fridays with this show. I was going to do it today, but found myself a little bit of free time, and I thought we'd get caught up together because I don't know what's going on. The world of baseball is upside down. I got robo umpires, which we'll talk about. We got TV deals going sour. Good job, Rob Manfred, chasing ESPN out of the baseball business after 30 years. They opted out of their $550 million yearly option, 3-year option, because of all the streaming out there. You're going to see more streaming and you're going to pay more. What else? Yankees are going to have beards for the first time since 1892. Well, I'm just kidding. I don't know how long ago it's been. It's been a long time, at least since George Steinbrenner was there, and maybe before. Big news, huh? I don't know if we talked about Bregman too much. I think we talked about it a little bit on the Sunday Stream of Consciousness while we were away on a celebrity eclipse. It was a great trip. Brett Boone gets extended. And then we'll catch up with the free agents. What's left? Who's left? Spring training started. Games today. Yankees leading 4-0. Marcus Stroman, of all people, started today. Oh, so it's good to be back. Good to be back in the studio. We had fun on the cruise and had fun doing it from the cruise ship, but it's good to be back. Went right from the cruise ship, an airplane, to 2 15-hour days in the office. Because, well, not in the office, but 10 or 11 hours in the office and out to dinner and for more conversations. And it's official. Keith's staff knows now he is leaving August 31st. So we can say it out loud now on this show and all my shows. Pretty soon, this will be my full-time job. Yeah. Good afternoon, Drew. I'm feeling great, actually. My wife, not so much. But apparently, I separated myself from that situation fast enough. Sounds weird to say it that way, right? But tested every day because I was going into the office, as I said, for to be cooped up in a boardroom with 12 people for 10 or 11 or 12 hours and then out each night. So I tested every day and I felt fine. Well, I miss my wife, though. Thank you, Drew. Danny Fuller, good afternoon out there in LA land. The new evil empire, the Dodgers. Wouldn't it be something if this team didn't make the playoffs? It seems impossible, right? But if the Yankees are going to wear beards, I think anything's possible. How you doing, Danny? Boone extended 2 years remaining Yankee meat. They're not remaining. There are billions of us across this globe. I don't know about billions, but I won't slit my wrist. The man got us to the World Series last year with a flawed team. You know, I'm not the biggest Aaron Boone fan of the year in the world. But yes, he gets a contract extension. We'll see how it goes. I love that you guys are so cordial to each other. It's awesome. Exciting. This will be the show. Let's see. I'm going to post Danny and Shrew's conversation for an hour. Yankees hired my buddy Boone. Yeah. I decided I want to be nice to Aaron Boone. Did I say Brett a minute ago? I want to be nice to Aaron Boone for a little while. We'll see how the season goes. Because I think if I'm nice to him, that I might be able to get, Brett or Bob on the show for an interview. It'll be a couple weeks before I have an interview. So next week, by the way, the Friday 101 with Keith Engle, we'll have our new regular month-end show, which will be the Sound Off show, but we'll also have Jim Barringer from FullPressHockey.com with us on Fridays. We'll talk hockey. We got to talk about the Four Nations. Not here, guys. We'll talk about it some Sunday. But next Friday, we'll have Jim on, and we'll talk about the Four Nations. Well, what a great finish last night. Talk about that, but Jim is also well versed in all the sports, so he'll be part of our Sound Off monthly show the last Friday of every month. We'll schedule that for you, and then we'll try to get interviews scheduled in the meantime. But man, maybe I can make Brett Boone or Brett Boone or Bob Boone, or maybe even Aaron Boone, or maybe Brett Boone's son is on track to be a Major League Baseball star. Maybe I can get a Boone on this show. Maybe I get Daniel Boone on this show. And in Columbus, I don't think Ed's ever come into our MLB update. I don't know if he has or not. How are you, my friend? No, we do not. You're right. There are no Guardians here. There are no Redskins on this platform. Sorry. They are the Cleveland Indians forever, Ed, in Columbus. Good to have you. For those who haven't met Ed before, because I don't think Ed's come in the MLB update. I could be wrong. But Ed's a big contributor on the college football huddle, a big Ohio State fan, obviously, and obviously a Tribe fan. Love to get some input on the Tribe. We don't get a lot of Indian fans, Ed. We've got Oriole fans. We got Yankee fans. We got Dodger fans. We got the de facto Met fans. That's you, Drew, by the way. We got a lot of different fans, but I don't think we've had a lot of Indian. Red Sox fans. Hope Scott Kobe's doing well out there. So welcome, Ed. Good to have you with us. How about the Yankees, though? Let me see. Let me pull up this article. Jeez. I wake up to the news, yesterday morning that Hal Steinbrenner says, it's been 50 years. 50 years. I remember very well when George established this. This says 1976, but I'll be honest with you. George bought the team 73. I read a great book, by the way, recently. Yankee Princess. It's about. It's written by Gabe Paul's daughter. Very interesting book. We're gonna have her on the one-on-one show here at some point. I got to reach out to her next week. A very interesting book and a lot of stuff in there. I knew a lot of stuff I did not know. And we'll get into some of that at some point. But he bought this team in 1973, wasn't going to be a big part of it. But soon after buying the team, and I think it was a 74 spring training, he was going around. He didn't know any of the players' names. He's writing down numbers of players and saying to they all need to go get haircuts. Might have been 73, actually, telling Ralph Houck all these guys need haircuts. Bobby Mercer being one of them. Bobby was my boy. Anyway, it's now 2025 by my last calculation, and we are going to be able to grow beards. It does not modify the hair length, which still cannot go below the collar, which it wouldn't affect me. But I remember Don Mattingly, famously, when Don Mattingly was still at the top of this game, and Thurman did it in the 70s as well, by the way. Thurman pushed the beard policy, but Dottie pushed the hair policy. And Stump Merrill had to go to Don Mattingly and tell him to get a haircut. Those teams were bad anyway. Don Mattingly's the only good thing about it. And Don Mattingly, you're going to tell him your hair's an inch too long. Now, some of these guys, I don't need to see guys with hair down to their back. And, some of the not even Grizzly Adams beards. What are they? Who are the Duck brothers, the Duck Dynasty guys? I don't need to see those beards either, but just trying to do something cool. What do you got for me, Drew? Catch me up. I'm catching up with you guys. Justin Turner signs with the Cubs. Cubs, a lot of pressure on the Cubs this year. Hoyer, I think and Council have some tremendous pressure to win. Yeah, to me, I think it's as talented as any team in that division. I think there's a lot of pressure, and I think the clock's ticking there. Andrew Haney, always a name I love to hear. There's so many guys who get excited about signing Andrew Haney. And where's my friend? Not here with us right now, Alan Perales from, I didn't even thank my sponsors and groups and whatnot today. I didn't even play the incoming video. You see how out of practice I am? We'll play it at the end. We'll thank the groups here in a second. But Alan Perales from Let's Talk Sports was always excited when Texas was having Haney. I've never been Andrew Haney fan. You're in Gary out. Oh, but the Padres. Padres are an interesting team. I mean, there's still talk they may trade Dylan Cease before the deadline, possibly before the start of the season. They're probably not before the deadline now, but Padres are an interesting team. There's a lot of interesting teams this year. We'll get into it. Drew and I will do our preseason rundown, middle of March, maybe something like that. Drew, I'll talk to you about it. We'll do it. It'll probably be a standalone show, and then we'll replay it on Roku at some point in one of my slots or a special slot. I'll talk to Mac about that. But we'll do our picks as usual, and we'll put on our little mind reading hats and go to work. Drew, we got to get together so we can test your new browser and see if our sound issue is cleared up. I got to remember to do that in the next couple weeks. The Tribe did well last year, so they will be 500 this year. They're up and down like a yo-yo. Yeah, I think, listen, Stephen Vogt did very well, I thought, in his first year last year, Ed. I thought they'd miss Francona a little bit, but maybe, and I might even have said this in our preview show last year, that maybe the distraction of Terry Francona, he's a great manager. A little surprised to see him back with the Reds, by the way, but great move by that organization if he's healthy. The problem in Cleveland, and I'm glad you brought this up, Ed, because I had the opinion, and it's all coming back to me now because that's what happens when you get old. You think you're trying to remember something, you think it's totally gone. Then all of a sudden it's there. I do remember in the preview show and in other shows talking about whether Cleveland would benefit from the distraction of Terry Francona and his health situation being removed from the equation. Great manager, not taking anything away from him. I'd love to get your opinion on that. Yeah, didn't see if did that contribute to the Indians' success last year. Great manager. I think it's a great move by the Reds, assuming he's healthy. Steinbrenner is from Cleveland. George Steinbrenner tried for years to buy the Cleveland Indians. Couldn't do it. Did have a ABA team in Cleveland. I think the Pipers, if I'm not mistaken. Had tried to get involved with the Indians for a number of years, couldn't do it. And Gabe Paul, who was also big in Cleveland and Cincinnati before that, Gabe had put together a group of people to buy the Yankees from CBS, and George was not the majority owner at the time. George was just, part of a large conglomerate of people, and George managed to find his way to the majority ownership in just a couple of years. I remember very clearly when I was 13 years old, George saying he was not going to be a part of the day-to-day operations. How'd that work out? After a suspension, just first one. George is a character, man. I was going to say something else about that. George. Don't know. Anyway, great pickup by the Cubs, unfortunately. No team has more pressure or higher expectations than the Dodgers. Win or fair, no in between. No win or fair. Oh, fail? Do or do not. There is no try, Danny. I know Drew's going to get this. No, maybe not. Yeah, I think he'll get this. Do or do not. There is no try. Give me whose quote that? There you go. Thank you. Do or do not. Rick Sherlock, thank you. Great to be back. As I mentioned earlier, and Rick had messaged me last night about the meetings I had this week, because I think I had told him that during these meetings, my bosses have known for a little bit now my impending retirement, and my staff now knows, so I don't have to tiptoe around that anymore on my shows. It was a weird. It was a bittersweet moment yesterday when I was told the staff. Some of them I've been with for 23 plus years. 23 plus years. I thought it'd be easy, and I thought it'd be. It was a little melancholy. It really was. I'm certainly at peace with my decision, believe me. But it's a little melancholy there, and got 6 months to go. And I'm not believe me, there is no glide out for Keith. We will be running through the wire. This is the way I'm wired, and we got a lot of things on the table, and unfortunately, I probably won't be there to see the fruit of this come to bear, but I'm certainly going to be a big part of getting it lined up and leaving these people in a tremendous situation to succeed in the future. So thank you, Rick. More good afternoons. Donald Trump did try to buy the Indians. Would have been huge. It'd have been a beautiful thing. Donald Trump's always wanted to be in sports. Long before he got into politics, he would want to be a sports mogul, right? He was trying the worst way to get into the NFL, and he bought his way into the USFL with the Generals. And it's not a baseball topic, but go watch. Why do I keep plugging ESPN, right? But go watch, if you haven't at some time, Who Killed the USFL? It's Donald Trump. It was hilarious. Not hilarious. It's a really good documentary. Okay. One day at a time. You doing better? We got a lot of guys. We keep saying, we want to do better. Danny, Rick, Scott Colby. Anybody struggling out there? Hope you're doing well. I hope we can have a few fun for an hour today, a couple hours on Sundays. I'd like to have some fun with you guys again. Some short guy with long, greenish gray guy. Yeah. Yoda. Good call, Drew. I knew you'd get that. Do or do not. There is no try. Kenny. Oh, geez. I gotta tread lightly right now, Rick. Oh, man. Hold on one second. I've been waiting for... what is my wife doing? She doesn't feel well. She's mopping the floor. I'm assuming. She told me not to come up for a few minutes, so... Oh, my gosh. What else is going on, guys? Yankees facial hair 50 years ago. What I started talking about here. I got a little distracted, didn't I? What else? Robo umpires. Started using them in spring training games this week. I've seen video of minor league games, and it seems like it works. But do we need the technology, really? Do we? Does all of sports have to be full of technology? Can't we just play and have human error? Why is human error no good anymore? Why? I don't get it. Maybe it's just me. I know we want to get it right, but in the sense of getting it right, do we have to ruin sports altogether? Instant replay for everything. Robo umpires. Well, we get robo players. I can just play the game on my phone anymore. I don't even need it. Why do I even need it? Oh, man. It's the state of the game. What has Rob Manfred done to this game now? ESPN, who's been a partner of Major League Baseball for at least 30 years, 30 plus years maybe, has announced they will not, and there's still time to change their mind, I guess. They will not be taking their option at another 3 years at $550 million per, because they feel the product has been weakened by Rob Manfred and his cronies with all the streaming options you have out there. You know, I've said a few times, I hope the game survives Rob Manfred. God, we worry about the country. I worry about Major League Baseball, for crying out loud. Jesus. Oh, Danny, how are you? But, it's funny. I get back, and Drew does a lot of cruising, I know. Probably has had this phenomenon. I haven't had it in a while. But it used to always take me a couple days to come back and get my land legs, because I would stand still and you find yourself kind of going. And in the shower, it's worse for me. And I haven't had it in a few trips. And this trip, I've come home and I've really, last night I woke up and my wife's been sick, as Drew may or may not have been alluding to earlier. So I've slept in a guest room. Yes, because she's sick, not because she kicked me out, I promise. I'd be honest. But I had it in the shower. I always get it in the shower. That's the worst place I get it for a couple of days. But last night I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I swear I felt that gentle rock of the ship, and it put me right back to sleep. Weird. Yeah. Did I forget to join the rest of that, Rick? Or Drew? Oh, you did. Ottavino. I'm not a big fan. He pitched for the Mets. He pitched for the Yankees. You can have a comment. I mean, again, you're our de facto Met fan, Drew, but I do not think he'll help this team. I mean, I shouldn't say that. The guy's got some talent, I think. I think he's got a 10-cent head is what I think. He's one of those guys, right? Remember Michael Panini? No, what the hell's his name? I say Panini. Panero? What was his? I know Drew can come up with the name. Pineda. Michael Pineda. The Yankees got him from Seattle. And that's, I think I heard the first time I'd heard the phrase, $1 million arm, which wouldn't really be that much today, and a 10-cent head. But guys like Ottavino make me feel the same way. But he'll probably kill the Yankees this year. This is what will happen. He'll kill the Yankees this year. The Red Sox got a lot better. Ottavino's not better, but the signing of Bregman, all of a sudden their offseason doesn't look so bad. Now they got a little problem because Devers doesn't want a DH. They still got a first baseman. Bregman wants to play third. The Red Sox players are kind of backing Devers and saying Bregman ought to move, at least some of them. Maybe it's going to be animosity there. I don't know. How'd I freeze? What happened? Can anybody hear me? Let's see what happens if I do this. Sorry, guys, we froze there for a second. I don't know what happened. We had a little glitch in the system. I apologize. I don't know what I was saying. I was talking about Devers, and I don't know whether there'll be some animosity there, but he wants to play third. His teammates are backing him up and saying Bregman should move, and they might want him to DH or move to first base and trade their first baseman. I'm not a fan. Might move to fourth in the East. I think Bregman's a nice pickup for them. I really do. I would love to have seen Bregman in pinstripes. Yankees are already banking on a lot of guys that have comeback seasons. I get that. But I do think Bregman will be okay. By the way, he's another guy who and if you watch oh damn, what's bear with me a second. I'm trying to remember. Isn't that awful? I'm not gonna find this. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, there we go. My good friend Jeff Fry, former Major League Baseball player with the Red Sox, with the Rangers. We were trying to get him on for an interview, but he posts a lot of hitting videos. And some of these new hitting coaches, well, they're all new, but some ridiculous hitting exercises they put these guys through. Bregman changed his swing, had a problem. There's a bunch of me. He just posted somebody the other day that changed his swing. Who was it? Let me see if I can find it quick. I don't know, because he posts a lot of different stuff. There was somebody who was hitting. Yeah, this must be. I think this is his other. He's got a couple of different pages, but we don't teach straight. I'm going to get him on the show, and we're going to talk about why we have to mess with things at work. Guess the Rays are. Listen, you talk about teams. Danny talked about teams with pressure. The Dodgers, yes, pressure for sure, because you got, the best, hopefully for them, the best roster money can buy. A big year for the Jays, though, too. There's a lot of pressure on Jays. I've talked about Schneider being on the hot seat for a while, but that organization, from the GM to the manager to the players, this could be the last run for this group of players. They've chased big free agents, and Santander's the best guy they can come up with. Vlad won't sign an extension. If they don't sign him during the year, he could get traded at the deadline unless they're in contention. If they're not in contention, you could see Vlad gone. I think the Blue Jays have a lot of pressure on them as well. They don't perform this year and advance in the playoffs. Could be trouble. Timing, including Kenny with Danny and Scott and myself, not the donkey. Who's the donkey? Who's a donkey? We wish all you guys well, believe me, all the time. If I don't mention it every show, I'm thinking about it, I can promise you. Drew Ottavino and many others in the bullpen are the bullpen equivalents of the three true outcomes, yes. Lots of Ks, a ton of base on balls. It's funny. We used to always talk about three true outcomes in hitting, but that's an interesting, along with too many inherited runners allowed. So that's an interesting three true outcomes for bad relievers. And it doesn't hurt his ERA, right? I'm not a fan, but he'll kill the Yankees this year. I'd be willing to bet he kills the Yankees this year. Michael Gott from the UK. How are you, my friend? He says, he say people from the UK are a nation of seafarers. Every time I go on a ship, I get seasick. Not a problem I've ever had. I love the Rocky waters. Those, again, I don't want to spend 10 days or 11 days at sea, bouncing back and forth. I'll tell you a funny story too. Oh, you guys might have heard it actually. I like a day or two where it's rocky. We back in February when we were out, we left out in New York. In February, yes, and went to the Eastern Caribbean and back. Going down, we had 2 really rough days, and coming back, we had some really high seas as well, and I loved it. I don't mind that rocking to the ship, especially when I'm sleeping. I sleep like a baby on the cruise ship. I got to tell you. I pop up. I wake up at 5 a.m., 5:30 at the latest at home, and I'm up and I'm out of bed. I'm wide awake. And when I'm at sea, man, I could just lay there all freaking morning. But it's good to have you with us, Michael. Jump on the Mayflower and come on over. You can fly now. You'll be all right. Not a good look for you, Keith, the middle of a drink. I know, right? That was awful. Jeez. Oh. I was so you could still hear me, but I was frozen. It must have been really creepy. Stan does have, what are the odds? I've been saying for 2 years, get rid of him. Now, he had a great postseason last year, and maybe the Yankees don't get to the World Series without Stan. But I argue with Jack Hirsch on the Mac and Jack show all the time that this guy needs to go. He does one thing. Well, he does two things. Actually, he does more than two things. Only one of them's good. He gets on really hot streaks and carries a team for, whatever, a week at a time, and then disappears for 6 weeks or gets hurt for 6 weeks. So he's good at hitting in streaks that are not long enough. He's great at leaving men on base. He's great at getting hurt. He's great at not being able to. I can run faster than Giancarlo Stanton. I swear to you, I can run faster than that. Not for long. And he's out for a bit, I think. Well, I know opening day is in jeopardy for him. He's got tendonitis in both elbows. What was he doing? What are you doing in the offseason that you get tendonitis in both elbows? I'm confused. Was he playing tennis? Ambidextrously? Is that a word, Drew? Oh, God. I just don't get it. I had 21-foot waves on a Hawaii trip. We had most of the ship to ourselves. It was kind of like that coming home. They probably weren't quite 21 feet, but I would say they were 15 to 20 at times. This was in February. I had no problem with it. I loved sitting there. You know what I would do? I'd sit out. I do this. I promise you I do this. We have those nice high seas like that. I will be out on my balcony recording that noise. And that's what I go to sleep to when I'm stressed out, which will end in August. No more stress for me. Maybe now. The funny story was we had, and I think I told the story already when I was on the ship, but I'll tell it here because we hadn't had the MLB update audience. There was a tsunami, there was an earthquake off of Grand Cayman. Somewhere in the middle of the ocean, 7.6, 7.8, something like that, which was sizable. But they had tsunami warnings throughout the Caribbean. And we were really to the eastern part of the Caribbean. And it's kind of funny, but it's not, I guess. Because bad things can happen and have happened in places like Indonesia and whatnot. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure tsunamis are not terribly dangerous in deep water. They're not rogue waves. This isn't the Titanic. Rogue waves and tsunamis are two different things, very different things. And to my knowledge, they're not dangerous in deep water. You might get some rough water, you get rocked a little bit. You're not going to get tipped over like the Titanic. And even when I was watching the tsunami warnings, I was watching the different islands. And the highest warning was 10 feet in Cuba. It was 1 foot like everywhere else, which doesn't seem terribly scary to me. So anyway, there was people on, different chat groups saying, turn ships around, turn all the ships around. Anyway, the next morning, the captain came on and did his update and always gives ship status. And he said the ship status was upright and we hope to keep her that way. He was a very funny guy. Every morning he had some funny stuff. Anyway, I digress. Schmidt's injured too. Yeah, the Yankees have had some injuries, and Schmidt's Clark Schmidt. I like Clark Schmidt. I think Clark Schmidt is really close to taking the next step. Injuries. I didn't understand that. Injuries can get in the way. I didn't understand it either. I got my phone talking to me. I like Clark Schmidt. I think his health is important to this rotation because I don't think they want Marcus Stroman in it, despite the fact he finally showed up to camp and started today, I believe. But we need Schmidt to be healthy. Bobby Miller just had a line drive off his noggin in concussion protocol. I think I saw that. Drew, next up on it's the DL. Danny, I expect better of you, Danny. It's the disabled list. It was for 125 years. Will be two angels. No names need mention. Has there ever been a worse signing than Anthony Rendon? By the way, it also had an impact on salary structures and whatnot. The guy's hurt all the time. He doesn't like his job, he said last year. Man. Ambidextrous is indeed. I said ambidextrously. That's the way I say it. Ambidextrously. Is that a word? What did I say before? Didn't I say ambidextrously? So what do you call it? Like if I'm pitching with both hands, if I'm in the I can't believe I'm having this conversation. If I'm in the moment of pitching with both hands, what am I doing? Am I doing it ambidextrously? That's what I asked. Oh, God. Rendon's already gone for the season. Goodbye. He sucks. He doesn't like his job anyway. Goodbye. Bobby's head is in a wheelchair. No. Rogue waves knocked over to Poseidon. By the way, never get on a ship that is being piloted by Captain Frank Drebin. Nothing good's going to happen if Captain Frank Drebin is, in charge of your ship. Won't happen. Mets big signing of Montas. Who didn't see this coming? This is stupid. When they signed him, I said, what are they doing? He's already shown he can't pitch in New York. He gets hurt. And I think he doesn't have the head to pitch in New York. I talk about this a lot. Another thing Frank Hirsch or Jack Hirsch, doesn't agree with me on is the fact that playing in New York is harder than playing in Cincinnati or Oakland or Sacramento or wherever you want to talk about. Acuna, yes, I did see Acuna not likely back before the end of May. See what else we got. Go, Laney's got a comment up here. I apologize. I don't mean to offend, but to me, it's a stable list. It is what it is. I can get your. We can be okay. I think being on both sides of this conversation. Believe me, I think if it was just that, Danny, I wouldn't have a problem. You don't have to apologize. I get it. It's just a word, though. No, I know. Words mean something. Anyway, I digress. And believe me, those are serious things. I do not ever take lightly, especially kids with disabilities. I think there are places where it's well meant. There are others where, it's when it gets lumped into the larger group of this word's not okay to say anymore. Like Indians and Redskins if you feel the need to take that out of that bucket, I'm okay with that. We can disagree. Because we agree with a lot of people on a lot of things, man. Oh, anyway. What else we got here? Drones at stadiums. 10 best shortstops. I'm just looking at some of the stories on Major League Baseball, or ESPN and The Athletic. And Spencer Horowitz traded twice during the offseason, out 6-8 weeks. I'd say the smartest team was the two teams that traded him, so they're okay. Come on. What do you got there? If that's what I think it is, thank you, Danny. You know me, guys. I just say what comes to my mind, which is not always a good thing. What's going on here? Yankees, we talked about. Terry Francona says the Reds will opt out of ABS testing. Why work on strategy we're not going to use? Interesting. And I agree. If they're not using it this year, why practice it or worry about it in spring training games where you're trying to accomplish something like getting your team ready to play baseball? And it's something we don't need anyway. You're the man, Danny. Some big name prospects set to make their debuts this season. Well, and Drew, by the way, Drew's very good. And probably better than me about digging. I used to be much better at this. And maybe when I retire, I will be much better at this again. But when I played in Dynasty fantasy leagues, I was really good at, I knew every minor league system because I would draft guys basically that were an A-ball for my Dynasty league. Because we had like 45-man rosters. And you had a farm system, and guys worked their way through. It was very complicated, but it was a lot of fun. But since I haven't, and I played in that league for like 30 years. But since I got out of that league, I haven't paid as close attention, which is why it's great. Drew does, because when we do our MLB update, Drew is really well versed on minor leaguers. I mean, I know the big guys. But Drew digs down close. He did a great job with the Reds a couple of years ago with Dela Cruz and maybe even my guy who was hurt the entire year last year, killed my fantasy team. Who was their second baseman? I'm still trying to get back in the mode here today, guys. Am I okay letting a little stream of consciousness seep into baseball? Jack shut down Chris and I this morning for being off topic. We do that a little bit on all our shows. We drift. I try to stay on topic, but you know, my life is a stream of consciousness. What? If you want to give me an update, you can for sure. I reached out to Chris too, by the way, Rick, with your message the other day. He had sent me a couple of messages at the same time or around the same time. So the Reds aren't going to participate in the testing of the automatic ball strike system. ESPN out, we know that. Bobby Miller, we talked about. First challenge in the ABS, if you care, was by a Cubs pitcher, and I believe he won. Matt McClain, thank you, Drew. I'm trying to get my mind around baseball. Hey, look at Drew got me twice. Oh, I see. He spelled it for. I figured it out. Here's the thing. You know, one of the best things you can do in baseball is to be wearing the right number at the right time. Brett Batty, Mets third baseman, maybe first base. Well, I guess he won't play first base now. They re-signed Alonso. A lot of these, and that's the new trend right now. You're either signing long-term deals like Soto, which, quite frankly, I don't remember if he has opt-outs or not. He shouldn't. If you're signing 10-year deals, 12-year deals, we don't need opt-outs. I just gave you $700, $800 million. But the newer trend is give them 3 years, 2 years, but every year's got an option, and it's based. They're all 1-year contracts, right? But Batty got himself a brand new car for giving up his number. Let's see. Soto joked that the car cost more than $22,000. I'd have got myself a nice $100,000 Lamborghini or something. Oops, sorry about that. How did I get that comment up there? I said I'll be back shortly. That's my emergency banner. I don't know how he could afford it. He said it was more than $22,000, so I hope he got himself a nice vehicle. I'm not sure how he afforded it on that salary. Maybe he probably got really good interest rate and a 6 or 7 year loan on the car. What's he gonna weigh? He's switching number 7. Number 7's better than number 22 anyway. I love single digits. There was a time single digits was the thing to be wearing in the major leagues, right? That was DiMaggio, Mantle, Maris, Nettles, Mercer. All Yankee guys, obviously. Roy White, Stan the Man. Now it's like high numbers. Judge with 99. What's Freeman wearing? Isn't he wearing 55? Those used to be pitchers' numbers only. I always like single digits. I'll let you guys guess what number I wore through my high school years, my college years, my semi-pro years, and my fast pitch softball career. Wore the same number. And I played shortstop and third base. Later on, played a little first base. Kind of made a natural progression around the infield as you get older. I'll let you guys guess my number. What else? I can't believe we're going to have baseball, real baseball, in like, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, Drew? What is it? When are we going to Japan? By the way, sorry, folks in Cincinnati. I know that historically the game was founded in your well, not founded, but Major League Baseball was first played in your city. And for years, you got to have a parade and have the first game, and kids got the day off from school. Those days are dead 20 years ago. They're never coming back. There's been a push from some people to try to get this to happen. Unless you're going to pony up the money, it's never going to happen. The MLB team of the Pacific Rim, the Dodgers, will be going to. Is LA actually the Pacific Rim? We'll be going to LA. Soto's an opt-out after the 29 season. He ain't going anywhere. But the Mets can avoid it by boosting the last 10 years from 51 to 55. Stupid. I'm okay. Alonso's contract. You're signing for 2 years, 3 years, and you want to give a guy an opt-out after a year, I don't care. He's got really a make good contract. I'm going to get the best effort out of him. But if I'm giving you nearly $800 million or $500 million, $400 million, you can't come back to me and that's only 4 years away and say, oh, my contract's obsolete. Don't sign for 12 years. Sign for 4. Sign for 5. Ugh. Man, it drives me nuts. 18th and 19th in Japan. America's pastime. Where else have we opened up? Japan. That's, I think, 6 times in the last 20 years or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like I read that this morning somewhere. 6 times in the last 20 years we've opened in Japan. America's pastime. I was reading something with Phil Mushnick. It might have been Mushnick who wrote that. Listen, I agree. My players don't get any benefit of the doubt here, Drew. I hate this nonsense. I really do. Much lower level, yes, by the way. And his opt-out was after 6 years or something, and it was wasn't it 6 years? I mean, he I could be wrong. I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't think, and if you're putting in a dual option, it's probably different as well. But again, I don't think he had like 10 more years left on his contract. It's just frustrating, man. Frustrating. Oh, there it is. Opening day. I did read it here. Where is it? I gotta give you these guys numbers too. I will do that. One thing, and I don't know if I have time to get into this, but I was reading Phil Mushnick today in the Post, who's really good, by the way. We put all these rules in. Another Rob Manfred thing. We got to put all these rules in. We got a pitch clock. We got no spider tack. We can't have shifts. Bigger bases, whatever else, smaller ballparks, harder bats, harder baseballs, everything to help hitters. And they still can't hit. All these rule changes for offense. In 2005 and 2006, every single major league team hit 250 or better. Every team. In 2024, 7. You go back a couple of years, 23, 22, they were a little better, 15 and 10. That's still not great. That's not, well, I can do math a little bit. One year it was half. In 2021, it was 5. So it dropped steadily from 30 to 29, 28, 28, 21, 19, 18, 17, 22, 21. The last 5 years, 12, 10, 5, 15, and 7. Awful. You can't hit 250. With all the rules are put in place to help you, you still can't hit. Are pitchers that good? No, they're not. Fundamentals are gone in baseball, and they're gone forever. Hate it. I know I'm a broken record on this freaking thing, man. Managed to find a bunch to talk about for almost a whole hour with mostly baseball talk. Yes, we had a little cruise ship talk and a little bit of football. We did. And we'll do that every week when we're here. I mean, I wasn't sure I'd be here today. I know I scheduled the show late today because I wasn't sure if I'd be here But it turned out I got my peeps to the airport by 11 and headed home to finish working from home. Nobody guessed my number. Hello, Bo. Damn, I'm hoping to talk. Catch out Bo Crouch, by the way. Great stuff. Bo does some great stuff on both on YouTube and on the Northeast National Streaming Sports Roku channel. And you can catch him on a bunch of national streaming sports shows as well, including his own daily. And put your stuff up, Bo. We got a couple of minutes. We got 4 minutes if you got time to put a little boost up for yourself. And I usually appear not the last couple of weeks, but the 3 weeks. Have I missed 3 weeks now? Or just 2 weeks on the professional sports show on Wednesday nights on National Streaming Sports. Bo does some great stuff. Logan Gilbert led the majors with 209 innings pitched. For today, that's a great workload, right? 1975, not so much. Add 100 innings to that, and you got me talking. God, I hate baseball. No, I don't hate baseball. That's wrong. That's a wrong thing to say. I love baseball. I just want to return to what I'm used to. And by the way, when ESPN loses their access right, or loses their rights, are giving it up. Major League Baseball and ESPN did a great job of making it sound like a mutual decision. This was ESPN dropping baseball. Don't be fooled. So pretty soon, all our options are going to be on streaming, and I'm going to have to buy 5 more streaming services. Only 4 pitchers at 200 or more innings. Lugo is a surprise. Webb and Wheeler. Oh, you've been gone for a while. I know. Geez. I was gone nearly 2 weeks on vacation, and I had work this week, Bo. Well, by the time of the show, we were probably heading out to dinner, but there were long 15 or 16-hour days, man. You might think it's fun. It's not fun. So anyway, check out Bo at football-talk on YouTube. Go subscribe to Bo's stuff. Great job. Bo was just at the, no, it's not baseball, but Bo was just down at the Senior Bowl a few weeks back, doing a great job down there. He does a great job with his shows on YouTube and the shows on National Streaming Sports as well. I love being on any panel Bo's on because Bo knows baseball. Bo knows sports. When your team had 3 DH and they're all at 187 or less, it's rough. Hitting, I feel like it is, well, again, there's a lot of 0-2 players in baseball today, Bo. And when you're DH, I guess hitting is a little important. I mean, designated hitter. Don't let these things get in your way. They're just small little details, Bo. Wouldn't you be better off putting your DH maybe at shortstop and let them play crappy shortstop and put your shortstop at DH, and like you'll have better numbers out of somebody who should be hitting? I know that doesn't make any sense. What's Bo talking about? The Mariners hit a whole 224 last year, barely edging out the pathetic Palos. Oh, God. Good stuff, guys. Listen, we'll wrap it up today. Good to be back in the studio. Good to be back with you guys. We'll be back on our normal schedule going forward. I'll be back Sunday with the Stream of Consciousness. I want to thank everybody who watched today on, well, I'm going to be a couple minutes over. So if we went by on YouTube, goodbye, YouTube. Or not YouTube, but Roku. If we're gone on Roku, you guys have a great day. I still want to thank everybody watching on Facebook, the thing I didn't do at the top. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. All the groups that allow me to share, like John Gonzalez at the Sports Authorities. Great group. Greg Rawlings at America's Pastime. The Love for Baseball. You want to go someplace where there's a lot of players and a lot of umpires and a lot of, go to Greg's groups. Football as well. Flo and the Gang at Bottom Line Sports. Let's Talk Sports, where Flo and the Gang does his podcasting. Ken Krause at sports. I've been gone so long, I'm having trouble remembering what I do. What is it? Golf Bud, sports of all sorts. And, of course, Ralph Williams at RW Media, who does some great stuff out of Pittsburgh, including the Sports Corner every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern with Smoking Jim Frazier. DDH, thumbs up. I forgot that today. I forgot everything today. And, guys, we'll give you a little more rundown on Sunday about the schedule coming up, and we'll go back from there. What'd you forget here? Forgot the baseball birthdays. Well, we can catch up on them. Thank you, Drew. Great to have you back, or great to have me back. Stay well. I'll be well. Staying away from my wife. It's not funny. She's fine. She's just got some cold symptoms. She'll be fine. And guys, we'll see you later. I got another comment here. One more comment, and then we'll get out of here. See you Sunday, guys. See you with the Sunday Stream of Consciousness. Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talks MLB update. It's been fun. And it's always a crazy ride with you guys. So love you to death. Have fun, guys. Bye-bye.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel.